Thanks for joining the Vanguard Advisor Portal implementation session. The purpose of this session is to provide advisors with an implementation guideline on the Vanguard Advisor Portal after you've registered. This session will walk through the overall onboarding experience of our Vanguard Personal Investor and Vanguard Super offer. We'll run you through the support that's available to you, including our advisor services team and implementation resources. Following that, I will jump into the Vanguard Advisor Portal to give you an overview of the general navigation, onboarding clients for both superannuation and personal investor, including our individual and complex accounts. Following this, I will run through the functionality that we have available for both super and personal investor, and then have a look at how to initiate data feeds and the advisor level reporting we have available. The Vanguard Advisor Portal is being built to deliver functionality as it becomes available to market. We're hoping to offer advisors access to 5 key functionality points, including advisor-led onboarding, the ability to charge advisor service fees, customized reporting, transact capabilities, and data feeds. We currently have the advisor-led onboarding available for all of our personal investor accounts, excluding KIT accounts, and our Vanguard superannuation accounts. You're able to charge advice service fees through our Vanguard Super and pension accounts. And we have customized reporting available, including performance reporting, portfolio valuation reporting, income reporting, and following this, we will have performance reporting and capital gains reporting available. With Transact Access, you're able to digitally transact on both our super and personal investor account types. We also have data feeds available for our X-Plan users. To give you a holistic onboarding experience overview for our personal investor accounts, including our individual, joint, company, SMSF, and trusts. As an advisor, you will log into the advisor portal where you will digitally create the account on behalf of your client. Once you have done the application, this will be emailed to the client to review and approve. Once the account is open, the client will receive a welcome pack to register for online access, and you will see the account via your advisor portal. Here you can find the details to help your client fund their Vanguard Personal Investor account. Once the funds are available, you are then able to log into the advisor portal and place those transactions on behalf of your client. In terms of the onboarding experience for our accumulation accounts, again, the advisor will log into the portal, create the application on behalf of the client, which will then get sent to the client to review and approve. Once the account is open, the client will receive a welcome pack to register for online access, and the account will be visible in the advisor portal. You will then upload any forms that are required, such as your beneficiary nomination and insurance forms, via the secure message function of the advisor portal. You can then go in and digitally create a fee consent on behalf of your client, which will get sent to them via email to DocuSign. In terms of the support we have for your business, we have a dedicated Vanguard Advisor Services team who can be contacted either via the secure message function of the portal or phone or email with the details provided. We also have an abundance of implementation resources, including our advisor portal guide, detailed implementation guides, an insurance quote tool, SOA text, and FAQ pages for both our Vanguard Super and Personal Investor. I'll now jump across to Vanguard Advisor Portal to give you a demonstration of the onboarding process. Once you log into the Vanguard Advisor Portal, this will be your homepage. You'll be able to view a full list of your client accounts. You'll be able to identify these accounts via the client name and under the client name, they will identify what type of super or personal investor account is held. You'll then see the client account number, the client name, and the portfolio balance. In terms of navigation, if you click on your advisor name, this will bring up your Vanguard advisor number. The envelope here is our secure message function. This is how you get in contact with our Vanguard Advisor Services team and upload any documents that may be required. The little bell icon is our notification function. Any activity on a client account will generate a notification and pop up in the notification portal. On the left-hand side, you have a few different options in terms of navigation, including our reports, which are our advisor level reports, our tools, including Portfolio Builder and the Vanguard Index Chart. We then have our forms and documents, where you will find all the forms that are required for both Vanguard Super and Personal Investor. The first tab is a full list of all of these forms, and then it will be separated into the different categories. Once you register for the Vanguard Advisor portal, after 5 days, you will get access to this application manager. This is where you will commence all new applications and view all existing applications for your clients. So say you've just registered for the Vanguard Advisor portal and you're wanting to commence your first application. You'll click onto the Application Manager button here, which will open the Application Manager in a new tab. What you can see here is a list of all pending applications that I have for my clients. The third tab under the products here will list whether it's a Vanguard Super or Personal Investor account. And then under the status column, you will have either Advisor Edit, which means you're still completing the application, Advisor Submit, which means it's been sent to the client, or it will say Documents Pending if there's certified ID or documents that need to be uploaded to the application. To commence a new application, just click on the new icon. You will then have the option to do an application for one of the 5 personal investor accounts, including individual, joint, company, trust, or SMSF, or our Vanguard Super account. We'll start with our Vanguard Super account. Please note that all primary applicants need to be an Australian resident for tax purposes. Here you will need to enter the primary applicant details. You do need to ensure that you get all of these details correct, as they are used as a form of verification in the application process. If you get any of these pieces of information incorrect, you will need to start a new application. You'll then need to enter the individual details. Any details that you do not know, you're welcome to leave blank, and when they get sent to the client, they'll be highlighted in red for the client to provide. If you do have the ID on file, you're welcome to input that information into the ID information. Then you'll need to enter the residential address, followed by the mailing address. You'll then come to the investment selection screen. With our Vanguard Super offering, you have access to 12 different investment options. The first one is our default, which is our life cycle product. You then have the Vanguard Diversified Funds, as well as the Ethically Conscious Growth Fund. Or for a more tailored portfolio, you have the option between 6 of our single sector managed funds. Here you'll make the investment allocation, and what this will mean is all future contributions and rollovers that are received will be invested, in this case, into the Vanguard Growth Index Fund. If you wish to make a change to the investment selection, you can do so once the account is opened. We then come to the beneficiary nomination section. Here you have the option to choose either between a binding death benefit nomination. If you elect this option, it will trigger a notification to let you know that a beneficiary nomination form will need to be completed. This does need to be wet ink signed by the client, and then you can upload this via the secure message function of the portal on their behalf. The other option is a non-binding death benefit nomination. Here you're not required to complete a form, but you will need to enter the dependent and relationship and allocation. The next section is the insurance. AIA is our insurance underwriter, and you have three options when it comes to the insurance. The first option is to take out a default level of cover. There is no form that's required or no underwriting for a default level of cover. You just need to make an election here and enter the details of your client's occupation. The other option we have is to take out a specified level of cover, and this will require a new insurance application form to be completed, and you can upload this via secure message. The third option is to transfer any insurance. So if the client holds existing insurance that they wish to transfer across to Vanguard Super, there's a transfer of insurance form that needs to be completed and again uploaded via the secure message function of the portal. On our Vanguard Super website, we have an insurance quote tool where you can use this to get an idea of the premiums for your client, and we also do have a pre-approval process with AIA. We have two sets of consents that are built into the application process. The first one is around Super Transact. Here, you can make the election on behalf of your client that will give you authority to transact on their super account and permission to withdraw up to $250,000 per day from their Vanguard Super to the linked bank account on file. The client will be able to view this election that you've made on their behalf and have the option to edit it during the application review process if they desire. We then have the data feed consent. Here, if you make the selection that they consent to data feeds, Xplan users will automatically receive the data feeds through for this client. The final process of the super application is to initiate the transfer of existing insurance into Vanguard Super. Here you'll have the option to transfer all or part from another super fund to Vanguard Super. Please note that if the rollover is coming from a self-managed super fund, you will be required to complete a rollover form. Otherwise, you can transfer up to 5 different super funds across to Vanguard Super during the application process. All you need to do is input the fund name, the member number, the ABN, and the USI. You then have the option to transfer either the entire balance across to Vanguard Super and close the existing super account, or transfer a partial balance across to Vanguard Super, which will leave the existing super account open. If your client has insurance that they wish to transfer over to Vanguard Super, please ensure you do a partial transfer, upload the transfer of insurance form, and once the insurance is successfully approved and transferred over, you can complete the rollover to close the existing super account. If you elect to transfer the entire balance, this will close the current super account and cancel any insurance that may be in place. And that's essentially it for the Vanguard Super application process. You will then scroll down to submit the application on behalf of your client, and what will happen is the client will receive an email. In this email, they will use their date of birth to open the application, and there will be a 4-digit PIN in the email that they will use to approve the application. If your client passes KYC, the account will be instantly opened, and the advisor will receive an email notifying them that the application has been submitted. If the client fails KYC, the advisor will get an email to notify them that documents do need to be uploaded, and you can upload these documents on behalf of your client by going into the application manager, opening the account application, And there will be an option under the documents section here to upload the documents on behalf of the client. You can resend the email if the client cannot locate the application email. Just go back into the application and hit resend. To commence a new personal investor application, click on the new icon. You'll have the choice to choose between one of our 5 personal investor accounts, including individual, trust, company, joint, and SMSF. In this case, we'll go through a demo of an individual account. The applicant does need to be an Australian resident for tax purposes. You'll need to input the primary applicant details. Please ensure you get all of these details correct, as there'll be a form of verification for the client to open and confirm the application. If you get any of these details incorrect, you will need to commence a new application. You'll then need to input the individual details. If you do have the client's certified ID on file, you're welcome to input their ID details as well. Any information you do not know, when the application gets sent to the client, that information will be highlighted in red for the client to complete. You'll then need to pop in their residential address and their mailing address. Each personal investor account will need to have a nominated bank account on file. The nominated bank account will need to be in the name of the Vanguard account. In this instance, it will need to be in the name of the individual. If it's a company or trust, it will need to be in the name of, say, the company or the trust, or joint accounts, it will need to be in the name of the joint account. We then have the consents built into the application process as well. Here, you can make the election on behalf of your client to consent to data feeds. Once you make this election, when they receive the application, they will be able to view this election and edit it if they desire. Once they consent to data feeds, they will flow through into your Xplan software. And that's essentially it for the Vanguard individual application. All you'll need to do is scroll down and hit submit. What will happen is an email will be sent to the client. They will use their date of birth to open the application. And in the email, there'll be a 4-digit PIN that they will need to confirm the application. Once the application has been approved, as long as they pass KYC, the account will be opened and visible in the advisor portal. If you do need to resend the email, you can do so via the application manager. We'll now go through the application for a trust account. Just elect the trust option, and again, the applicants need to be an Australian resident for tax purposes. You'll have the option to choose either between an individual or a corporate trustee. In this case, we'll elect an individual trustee. Please ensure you have a copy of the trust deed as you're completing the application, as all the information will need to be as per the trust deed. Again, we just input the primary applicant's details. Then you need to input the details of the trust. Again, please ensure this is from the trust deed. You'll need to input the full legal name of the trust, the type of trust. So with our trust, you have the option either between a regulated trust, such as your APRA regulated super fund, or other trust types, including family and unit trusts. If you do not know any of the details, you're welcome to leave them blank. And once it gets sent to the client, these will be highlighted in red for the client to complete. You'll then need to input the trustee details. So in this case, we chose an individual trustee, and you'll need to put in the individual trustee details. If you elected a corporate trustee, this is where you would put in the corporate trustee details. You have the option to add multiple trustees. Once you've entered the details of the first trustee, just click on Add a Trustee. You'll then need to pop in the individual details of the trustees. If you have their certified ID, you're welcome to input those details as well. You'll then need to input the nominated bank account. So all of our personal investor accounts need to have one nominated bank account on file, and this bank account will need to be in the name of the trust. You'll then need to put in the mailing address. And then we have the consents that are built into the application process. Here, if you elect yes, I consent, you're making a nomination on behalf of your client to consent to data feeds. If you're an Xplan user, this will mean that the client's data feeds will automatically flow through into your Xplan software. Once you've completed the application, you can hit submit, and this will get sent to the client to review and approve. They'll use their date of birth to open the application, and in the email, there'll be a 4-digit PIN for them to approve the application. If there are multiple trustees, in this case, what will happen is an email will be sent to the primary applicant. Once the primary applicant has approved the application, it will initiate an email to be sent to the secondary applicant, or in this case, the secondary trustee, and continue down the line until all of the applicants have been processed. The next action that you need to take in the case of the trust and SMSF accounts is that all trust and SMSF accounts will require a copy of the trust deed to be uploaded to the application. The clients will receive an email with a link and a notification that the trust deed will need to be uploaded. However, the advisor can upload this on behalf of the client. Once your trust or SMSF application has been saved or submitted, you can enter into the SMSF or trust account application. So in this instance, here you can see the SMSF account. We can just open the application and scroll down to the documents section. Here you can just click to upload a copy of the trust deed. Again, you can do this once the application has been saved or once it has been submitted. And again, the SMSF and trust accounts will always require a copy of the trust deed to be uploaded here. If your client has also failed KYC, we will list the documents that are required in terms of their ID. You're also welcome to upload the certified ID on their behalf here as well. With our complex accounts, such as our trust, SMSF, joint and company accounts, once we've received all the documents that are required and they are approved, it's a 3-day processing time for the accounts to become opened, and you'll get a notification via the Vanguard Advisor portal once the account has been opened. So once your client has approved the application, you will get an email to confirm that the application has been submitted. With our Vanguard Super account, it's an instant account opening process, and once the KYC has been passed, you'll see the Vanguard Super account in your client list. With the experience of a Super account, the next step will be to open the Super account and upload any forms that are required. So these will include things like your beneficiary nomination form and any insurance forms. Once you've downloaded the forms from the Forms and Documents tab and have these signed by the client, you will need to upload them via the secure message function of the portal. You can do this by clicking on the envelope icon. Click on Send a Secure Message. Under the topic, elect Form Submission. Plug in the client name and form type. Attach the files and hit Send. What will happen is these will be sent to our advisor services team for processing. The next step will then be to charge the one-off fixed advice fee. You can do this by navigating across to the Fee tab. Click Create a new fee consent. And here you can charge your one-off fixed advice fee. This advice fee is subject to a minimum of $25,000 balance and is capped at $6,000 or 2% of the account balance. You need to pop in the advice fee amount. You then need to enter the date of the SOA. Please keep in mind that the advice fee needs to be completed within 90 days of the SOA date. Then elect the services provided. Hit Review and Send, and this will get emailed to the client to DocuSign. There doesn't need to be a balance in the account for you to charge the advice fee consent, but there does need to be a minimum $25,000 to deduct the advice fee. What will happen is once the rollover or contribution is received, the advice fee will be deducted and paid to the licensee on the 15th of the following month. Once you've sent the advice fee request to your client, they will get a reminder email to sign the advice fee every 2 weeks. Once they have, you will see the status here change to complete. If you do require a copy of the DocuSign fee consent, you can request it via the secure message function, or your client will also have a copy. The next options in terms of the superannuation accounts is you are able to make a contribution to super via BPay only. You can view the BPay details by clicking View here. And here you can see the BPay details for the personal contribution or spouse or partner contribution. Please note that all personal contributions will come through as a non-concessional contribution. If you wish to make these a concessional contribution, please download the tax concession form. If your client has given Super Transact authority, you are able to sign this form on their behalf and upload via the secure message function. Once the form has been processed, the funds will move from non-concessional to concessional. The final functionality on the Vanguard Super accounts is the change of investment mix. If you click on the Investment Mix tab, you'll be able to see the allocation to current investment options and any future allocations. Here you can click Adjust, where you can alter either both the current and future investment allocation option, just the current investment allocation option, or just the future investment allocation option. You will just need to input the election to the new investment allocation, and once you hit Submit, it will take up to 3 business days to process. Under the Reports tab is where you can generate certain reports for your clients. For our Vanguard Super, you have the option to generate our portfolio valuation and transaction reports at a certain date in time. Just elect the report type, enter the date, and generate report. You have the option to download this either as a PDF or Excel, and it will populate in the list of reports here. You will also have access to all the client statements under the Statements tab. Under the portfolio is where you will see the investment options, and it will be broken down into the preservation components and tax components. So once the personal investor account has been opened, the next step will be to fund the account. Every Vanguard personal investor account has its own Vanguard cash account. You can view the details of the Vanguard cash account by clicking here. There are 3 options in terms of funding the Vanguard cash account. The first and quickest is via electronic transfer. Here you will use the BSB and account number of the Vanguard cash account to do the electronic transfer. This will take as little as 20 minutes. The second option is BPay. Here you will see the BPay details, and this takes approximately 1 to 2 business days. The third option is to set up an auto invest plan, which will use the linked bank account to direct debit and will take approximately 3 to 4 business days. You can export these details into a PDF and share with your client to help fund the account. Once the client has transferred funds into the Vanguard cash account, you will get a notification via this notification section of the portal. You'll also be able to view the cash sitting in the Vanguard cash account. The next step will be to invest the cash. If you navigate across to the Transact tab, here you will be able to place either a one-off investment or set up an auto invest. If this is an existing client account and they have existing holdings, you're able to make an additional investment by clicking on the buy option, or you're able to sell any existing holdings. You can place multiple buys at once and multiple sells at once, but you cannot place an investment switch as such. If you're wanting to sell down one investment holding to purchase another, you will need to place the sell, wait for the cash to hit the Vanguard cash account, and then place the buy trade. Otherwise, if this is a new investment option, with our Vanguard personal investor accounts, you will have access to all Vanguard ETFs, all Vanguard managed funds, and the ASX 300. You can search the name of the managed fund by typing in the name of the managed fund, or you can search the ETF via a ticker or the ASX by the ASX code. In this instance, if we wanted to do a new investment into VDAL, our Diversified All Growth Index ETF, we would search the code, click buy, and it will bring up the new trade option. With our ETFs and the ASX listed stocks, you will have the option of either market or limit. If it's a limit order, you will have the option of end of day or end of 4 weeks. Otherwise, you will need to just pop in the dollar amount or the unit amount and click review order. This will bring up a summary of the trade order. Then you need to click agree and confirm, and it will give the details. Please note our managed fund orders will be processed the same day if received by 1 o'clock. These trades will sit here under pending orders until they are filled. Once they are filled, you will get a notification via the notification section of the portal. The next option in terms of transacting is to set up an auto invest plan. If we click on the second tab, auto invest, here you'll be able to see any pending auto invest plans or be able to set up a new auto invest plan. To set up a new auto invest, click Set up Auto Invest. Please note there is a minimum $200 investment amount for all our auto invests and a $25 minimum for kit accounts. You have the option to choose between fortnightly, monthly, or quarterly. You then need to input a start date. You have the option to enter an end date if desired, and it will show the linked bank account that will be drawn from. Again, you'll just type in the name of the ETFs or the ASX listed codes, or type in the name of the Vanguard managed fund. You can enter as many investment options as you like, and then you just need to put in the allocation to each. It will bring up the details of the auto invest plan. Click agree and confirm. and this can take up to 4 business days. It will have the details of the next direct debit date and the investment amount. And again, you can view the details of the auto invest plan here. You're welcome to modify, pause, or cancel the plan at any time. Please note that the client will get a notification 3 days prior to the direct debit being due, and if you wish to modify the plan, please keep it outside of that 3-day window so it doesn't interfere with any existing direct debits or investments. The final capability on a personal investor account is to place a withdrawal. You can do so by going to the cash section of the account, clicking withdrawal, and popping in the withdrawal amount. Here it will show the linked bank account on file. Please note that you can only have one linked bank account on file at any time. If you do wish to change the linked bank account on file, there will be a 9-day security hold. Again, you can access the different reports by clicking on the Reports tab. And with our personal investor accounts, you're able to generate a portfolio valuation, transaction report, income report, or a cash transaction report. Input the date, select either PDF or Excel and generate report, and it will populate on the right-hand side. The final 2 functionality that we have available are the data feeds and advisor level reporting. Data feeds are now available for X-Plan users and require 3 levels of consent. The first level is the licensee consent to the new data feed terms and conditions. The second level is the advisor level consent. You will need to go into the Settings tab and click on Data Feed. If you do not see the Data Feed tab, this means that your licensee has not yet consented to the new terms and conditions. Otherwise, if they have, you will see the data feed, and here you can generate the token that you will need to input into the X-Plan software. Once you've input the token into the X-Plan software, hit Refresh Data Feed. The third level of consent will be your client consent. As you've seen in the application process, the data feed consent is built into the application. That means those clients will automatically be consented to data feeds. However, if you have any clients that have not yet consented to data feeds, they will be visible in this data feeds client list. Those clients will be able to either log into the Vanguard online portal, click on their settings tab and consent to data feeds. Otherwise, we have a form available for them to sign. Advisor level reporting. If you click on the Reports tab, this is where you can access our advisor level reporting. We have 3 different options for advisor level reporting. The first is account listing, which will generate a full list of all accounts and segregate them into both personal investor and super. The second is our advice fee report, which will generate a report on all the advice fees that have been charged across your super and pension accounts. The third is the account holdings, which is an Excel report, which brings up all the clients and their underlying holdings. You just need to elect the report type, the date, and then choose the file format. Once you generate the report, it will be available on the right-hand side. If you have any questions around our Vanguard Advisor portal, please reach out to our dedicated advisor services team via the secure message function or via the phone on 1300 655 205 or advisorservices@vanguard.com.au, or reach out to your dedicated sales executive.